Jared Isaacman's nomination as NASA administrator marks a turning point in the agency's future, blending entrepreneurial innovation with public exploration goals. But who is Isaacman, and why does his name matter in space exploration? At just 16, Isaacman founded Shift4 Payments, a company that would make him a billionaire. Yet, his ambitions reached far beyond Earth. Isaacman has personally funded and led groundbreaking private space missions. The Inspiration 4 mission in 2021 was the first all-civilian orbital spaceflight, circling Earth for 3 days aboard SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft. Then came Polaris Dawn, where Isaacman and his crew not only ventured further but accomplished the first-ever private spacewalk. Both missions weren't just about pushing boundaries, they raised hundreds of millions of dollars for St. Jude Children's Hospital, showing Isaacman's commitment to using space as a force for good. Now, he stands at the helm of NASA at a time of fierce competition. China has declared its intentions to put astronauts on the moon by 2030, and America cannot afford to fall behind. Isaacman himself echoed this urgency, saying, "I know we can't be second." This isn't just about space dominance, it's about shaping the future of humanity as a spacefaring civilization, unlocking new possibilities in energy, manufacturing, and even biotechnology. However, Isaacman's nomination raises questions. He's an outsider to government and NASA's bureaucracy, but his vision is bold. His ties to SpaceX and Elon Musk spark concerns about conflicts of interest, yet his ability to achieve unprecedented milestones makes him hard to ignore. Can this billionaire private astronaut steer NASA through its most critical decade yet? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into what his leadership could mean for NASA's most ambitious missions. Jared Isaacman's vision for NASA goes beyond traditional exploration. His belief in space as the next frontier for innovation is rooted in his personal achievements. With Inspiration 4 and Polaris Dawn, he proved that space is no longer just for government astronauts, it's a realm where civilians can achieve extraordinary things. These missions were not just historic, they were symbolic of the growing role private enterprise plays in shaping humanity's future beyond Earth. But stepping into the role of NASA administrator means dealing with challenges that even Isaacman's billions and bold ideas cannot solve overnight. The Artemis program, designed to return humans to the moon and establish a sustainable presence, faces delays and budget concerns. At the same time, NASA must transition from the aging International Space Station to commercially operated platforms in low Earth orbit, a shift that could redefine how humanity collaborates and works in space. Isaacman has already expressed skepticism about some of NASA's legacy systems, like the Space Launch System, SLS, rocket, calling it outrageously expensive and hinting at its potential vulnerability to cancellation. Yet, he also sees its value as a stepping stone for larger goals. Balancing these conflicting realities will test his ability to lead a public agency that often moves slower than the private sector. One of the most pressing issues under Isaacman's watch will be competition with China. While NASA eyes a crewed Artemis mission to the moon around 2027, China has committed to landing its astronauts by 2030. This race for lunar dominance could define this era of space exploration. For Isaacman, ensuring the US remains ahead is more than a matter of pride, it's about maintaining global leadership in space innovation. Yet, beyond the geopolitics and budgets, Isaacman also sees space as a place of untapped potential. In his words, it's a domain where breakthroughs in biotechnology, energy, and manufacturing could revolutionize life on Earth. This forward-looking perspective may be just what NASA needs as it navigates its most transformative decade in history. What's clear is that Isaacman's tenure, if confirmed, will not be business as usual. His outsider status, entrepreneurial background, and direct involvement in space missions set him apart from traditional administrators. But will his bold ideas and unconventional methods be enough to overcome the deeply entrenched challenges of bureaucracy and politics? There's much more to uncover about Isaacman's plans, especially his vision for Mars exploration and the role of commercial partnerships in NASA's future. These questions will be at the heart of the debate over his leadership. Jared Isaacman's leadership at NASA could redefine how the agency approaches Mars exploration, an endeavor that has long captured the imagination of scientists and the public alike. the Mars Sample Return mission, a cornerstone of NASA's efforts to bring Martian soil back to Earth, is already facing technical and financial hurdles. How Isaacman tackles such challenges could set the tone for NASA's trajectory under his leadership. Isaacman's entrepreneurial background suggests he might lean heavily into public-private partnerships to accelerate progress. Companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and others have demonstrated their ability to innovate at a pace unmatched by government agencies. Isaacman's close relationship with SpaceX, in particular, may signal a more collaborative approach between NASA and the private sector, though it also raises concerns about fairness and potential conflicts of interest. Mars, however, is not just about science and technology, it's a symbol of humanity's ability to push boundaries. Isaacman's vision of a thriving space economy hints at a future where Mars becomes not only a destination for exploration but a platform for innovation in areas like sustainable energy, advanced robotics, and even human colonization. Beyond Mars, Isaacman will also need to address NASA's lunar ambitions through the Artemis program, which aims to establish a long-term presence on the Moon. This program is vital for testing technologies that could eventually be used on Mars. Yet, its success depends on securing bipartisan support, something Isaacman's political independence might help achieve. Isaacman's nomination also sparks a broader conversation about who should lead NASA in the 21st century. Does the future of space exploration belong to career scientists and engineers steeped in institutional knowledge, or is it time for outsiders like Isaacman to bring fresh ideas and disruptive innovation? These questions linger as the confirmation process unfolds, leaving the world to wonder how this private astronaut-turned-agency leader will navigate the complex realities of government-funded space exploration. Will Isaacman's bold vision be enough to propel NASA into a new era, or will the weight of bureaucracy and political gridlock slow his ambitions? The answers may lie in how he balances his entrepreneurial spirit with the methodical nature of NASA's operations, a challenge that could either elevate his legacy or define his limitations. As Jared Isaacman steps closer to potentially leading NASA, one of the most pressing challenges he will face is the delicate balance between innovation and tradition. NASA, a cornerstone of American scientific progress, operates within the constraints of public accountability, political oversight, and fixed budgets. Isaacman's bold, entrepreneurial approach will be tested as he confronts these realities. One area where his vision might shine is the transition from the International Space Station (ISS) to commercially operated platforms in low Earth orbit. The ISS, an aging marvel of international cooperation, is set to retire by 2030, leaving a critical gap in orbital research and human presence. Isaacman has expressed strong support for private sector innovation, and his tenure could accelerate NASA's partnerships with companies aiming to fill this void. However, these collaborations will require careful oversight to ensure safety, scientific integrity, and inclusivity in the next chapter of orbital exploration. Meanwhile, Isaacman's perspective on legacy programs like the Space Launch System (SLS) will be closely scrutinized. While the SLS is central to NASA's current strategy for the Artemis program and Mars exploration, its high costs and slower development timeline have drawn criticism. Isaacman's ability to evaluate whether to continue investing in the SLS or pivot to more cost-effective private solutions like SpaceX's Starship could define his early years as administrator. In addition to technological challenges, Isaacman must navigate a complex political landscape. The Artemis program, lunar exploration, and Mars initiatives all require robust funding and long-term bipartisan support. His previous political donations to Democratic candidates may offer some hope for bridging partisan divides, but the question remains whether he can build consensus on Capitol Hill to sustain NASA's bold ambitions. At the heart of Isaacman's potential leadership is a fundamental question: what is NASA's role in the modern age? For decades, the agency has been synonymous with exploration and scientific discovery. Yet, as private companies become increasingly dominant in space, NASA must redefine itself. Isaacman's vision of a space economy, where breakthroughs in manufacturing, energy, and biotechnology enhance life on Earth, suggests he sees NASA as a catalyst for both exploration and practical innovation. Still, his close ties to SpaceX raise concerns about favoritism and conflicts of interest. Will Isaacman champion competition among private companies, or will his relationship with Elon Musk's ventures tilt the scales? This issue will likely surface during his confirmation process, adding another layer of complexity to his nomination. As the world watches Isaacman's next moves, one thing is clear: his leadership could mark a turning point for NASA. Whether he succeeds in reshaping the agency or becomes bogged down by its institutional inertia will depend on his ability to merge the agility of private enterprise with the rigorous demands of public service. The stakes have never been higher, for NASA, for space exploration, and for humanity's future among the stars. Jared Isaacman's potential leadership of NASA comes at a time when the agency stands at a crossroads. The decisions he makes could redefine not only NASA's mission but also humanity's role in space. With competition from China intensifying and the private sector becoming a dominant force, the stakes have never been higher. Isaacman's vision of a thriving space economy is bold, and his track record of innovation speaks for itself. Yet, questions remain about how effectively he can navigate the challenges of government bureaucracy, political divides, and the complex interplay between public and private interests. If confirmed, Isaacman will need to strike a delicate balance between pursuing ambitious goals like Mars exploration and maintaining support for long-standing projects like the Artemis program and scientific missions. His willingness to embrace change and challenge inefficiencies could drive NASA into a new era, but only if he can unite diverse stakeholders around a shared vision. Isaacman's entrepreneurial background offers hope for a more agile and innovative NASA, but his lack of experience within the agency could also be a liability. Will his outsider perspective invigorate NASA's mission, or will the institution's entrenched complexities prove too difficult to overcome? Ultimately, Isaacman's tenure could signal a transformative moment for space exploration, blending the creativity of private enterprise with the foundational values of public service. The world will be watching closely to see if he can turn bold ideas into lasting achievements and inspire humanity's next giant leap into the cosmos. If you've enjoyed this exploration of Jared Isaacman's journey and the future of NASA, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analyses. Your support helps us bring these stories to life.